friends, we're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Candrin,
Hey y'all, it's Stasia.
and we're back. We've never been here before. We talk pop culture, real life, and the cross section between the two. So, we're back for part two of our life design conversation about getting unstuck. Getting unstuck.
What does he say about the process to getting unstuck? What is
So,
his like
basically, okay, I'm trying to pull up the
synopsis?
yes. So he basically says there are certain problems that you can't control. So there are, and they're called gravity problems. So, you know, people in your life passing away or just certain things that happen that you just have absolutely no control over.
Mhm.
However, there are certain problems that you can feel like are gravity problems that aren't actually gravity problems. So part of this process is really figuring out which of your problems are actually gravity problems and which problems are problems that you're willing to have. I forget the quote, but he says something about it actually being a problem that you're willing to have, and that's really the starting point of saying like, okay, I can do something about this.
Yeah.
Um, so he talks, jobs, relationships, family dynamics, all those different things, and what are the things that you can change. So using the job for example, he talks about like, okay, if you work at a family company and nobody is going to be president of the company unless they have the same last name, that is an actual gravity problem. So maybe the problem is not trying to become the president of that company because you're not going to be. Maybe the problem is finding a new job. Like,
Touche.
so it's reframing. It's a lot of reframing the things that you identify as problems.
That's my favorite thing to do with clients and myself, to be real.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I feel like honestly, I do a whole lot of reframing on a daily basis because life is ghetto. What the girl say that was thinking about life down here on Earth?
I
Earth
don't know.
is ghetto. I wanna leave.
Yeah. So
But no, seriously, I think reframing like whatever anything in life is probably the best. That's like a key flex.
mhm,
Like your ability to reflect to reframe things will amount in your level of happiness.
yeah. And I will say from I have not always been good at that. And
Me.
I think that it has been a big source of stress. And I am honestly in a space right now where I feel that I've hit a space of stuckness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing that maybe I'm not stuck. Maybe I just need to have some difficult conversations with myself, have some conversations with my employer up to and including I quit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or with my manager to get work that I feel is more meaningful, or
Yeah.
just different series of conversations. I feel that I've stopped talking and
Mm-hmm.
stop being open in a lot of aspects of my life, and it's led me to feel incredibly stuck. And yeah, they're just problems that I need to be willing to have now.
Yeah. I would agree. I think I think too that like your stuckness is subjective, and like what I mean by that is if you perceive the obstacle as an obstacle, then it is an obstacle.
Yeah.
Um, but if you go in this is funny and ironic. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine this morning who was seeking like some intuitive clarity. And so, of course, spirit always provides. So I was just kind of like, the message that came out of that conversation was just kind of like, go in the direction of the things that it is that you want. Um, and what that means is like, don't focus on the past Don't focus on the present circumstance. Like if you want something, go in that direction and have the belief that where you are headed will be provided for along your journey.
Yeah.
Like I think that whatever spiritual, like practice you believe in, one of the undercurrents is faith, and in having that, you move a little bit differently. Which is like, if you think about people who talk, like especially like celebrities who talk about they just took a leap of faith, where they left everything behind, they quit a job, they ran off to the West Coast, they left the country, like whatever the case may be. And once they got to the other side, yeah, they hit a couple of bumps and bruises, and it might have been a little bit uncomfortable, but they got to where they were going. They got to what it was that they were seeking. And I think that in the stuckness, if you choose to be stuck, then you're stuck, in the sense of whatever is happening outside of yourself. If you choose to pay attention to those things and not yourself, then that's where you will be.
Yeah.
If you choose to focus on, like what it is that you want, and your focus on yourself, right? If you're focusing on yourself and your inner peace, then that's what you will have.
Yeah. And I also think, from my experience, the last conversation that we had, actually, we have a couple conversations that would go to this, pivoting, which is one of my favorites, with Sherry. So I'll link that up in the comments, where we talk about what to do when you're stuck and what you don't know what to do next.
Literally,
But
she talks about going in the direction of what it was that she
does.
wants.
Absolutely. But also, the last conversation that we had about life design was just really identifying what your value system is. And I think the feeling of stuckness, especially for me, has come as a result of feeling that I'm out of alignment with my balance, with my values.
Yeah, 100%.
So having this sense of freedom is my core value. And when I don't feel free, I feel stuck. And I feel that I have to start making hard decisions, or whatever the case may be, or at least
what you deem as hard decisions. Shit don't be really hard. It's just like,
well,
do you want to go through it?
Right. Well, yes, and
okay.
It's funny because it sometimes not even a decision. That's where I was going next. Sometimes not even a hard decision. Sometimes it's just you need to just do something. And in the TED Talk, he talks about, I think he says it's radical curiosity, and he also talks about just a bias toward movement. So a bias toward doing something. But funny, one of my friends who I've known, oh God, how long has it been? Like 15 years now, which is crazy. I met him when I lived in Atlanta the first time, and he and I just became friends. We just hit it off, and he's just like, every time we talk, and he's like, and I tell him like, I'm just stuck. He's like, you just need to go somewhere. When's your next trip? And that's something that brings me a lot of peace and freedom, is travel and learning new things and seeing new things. So he's like, okay, so when's your next trip? Like, he's like, you're fine. You need to go somewhere. Where are you going? And so sometimes it's just a matter of tapping into your values and finding ways. It might not even be external. It might not even be a decision. It might just be like, okay, you just need to tap in to
But that
to
gets
your
back
value
to the
system.
thing that I was saying before. Probably, I think I said it in this one, but also definitely in the first one, is like Kendra is using the language of tapping in, but tapping into what? And for me, tapping in is into yourself.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Into yourself, into your values, into whatever it is that's internal, to figure out like, okay, so I feel stuck. So now what? And that can be something that, even when things are good, something that can keep coming up. But you just have to be able to know, like, internally, what it is that you value.
But even I'll even say, and this is like a repeat of the first episode of the life design block. as you are going along the connecting the dots, and you figure that, okay, I'm in a place of stuckness, that the things that matter to you will define what those values are. Like, you're going through the ebbs and the flows, and in doing that, if you don't already know what your values are, you might find them along the way.
Definitely.
It's a matter of going in the direction of what it is that you want.
Definitely.
Not worrying about everything else.
Definitely. And like I said, the TED Talk, which I'll leave below in all of these conversations, definitely speaks about a bias toward movement. And I think that's what it is. It's just being willing to do something.
Yeah.
Because one thing about being stuck, you can't get unstuck by doing nothing.
You right about that shit. Okay.
99% of the time, like, you cannot get unstuck if you just do nothing.
And I think too, like, a lot of us who have the revelation of like, you got to do something, is also out of an experience of sitting in a place of helplessness and not doing anything in previous experiences.
Absolutely.
And finding that shit didn't work either.
Yeah.
It's a part of the connecting the dots and going through the journey, for sure.
Yeah. I had this revelation, I guess, a couple of months ago, that I felt like I was in a space of almost grieving, because the world, life, it was not coming together as I had thought. And some of it's out of my control, some of it's not. But it's just, I had to take a minute and really come up with something else. And again, that's with the getting unstuck. But I did feel stuck, and I sometimes still do. So, but again, I am working towards a bias of action, and doing things.
And figuring out what that looks like, because that'd be a whole new trajectory, a whole new set of skills that you learn, one, and obviously two, in experience. Because if you've been in a position of inaction, all of a sudden being in action is some different shit.
Definitely. And I think to a certain extent, a lot of us have been in a space of inaction, or forced inaction for, at least a year or two. Depends on how active you decided to get once the restrictions started to lift.
Or how active you really was in the pandemic. Okay. Because the girls was out here.
Some people just never sat down. So, anyways, I think that about wraps the conversation up. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you're on the journey with us, let us know how you intend to become unstuck. If there are certain things in your life that you're stuck about, let's talk about it in the comments.
Also, if you feel like you need some assistance in terms of, once you've connected the dots, or hell, if you haven't even gotten that far, you need someone to help you connect the dots, and then, or if you need someone to help you get unstuck, that's what we do.
It is.
Business coach, life coach. What's up? Talk to us.
I'm a very good dot connector. I'm
very much
it's
so.
My superpower. It's my superpower. So yeah, we'll leave our information down below, and we're going to cook up something that we can do together. Yes. So that's it. Check down in the description box for more information, and get in the comments and talk to us.
Follow us on all of our social media, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.